Spider-Man Brand New Day is the brand new Spider-Man film in the Spider-Man film franchise, as well as the newest inclusion in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And as I was watching it, I thought it was really good. And I am now just about 24 hours removed from my first viewing of this film. And I still think it's really good, although I'm finding the film is having not really a lasting impact on me. Like, it was getting to the end of the day yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, I did see Spider-Man today. Huh. What I will say following that, though, is that legitimately, though, for the first 5 minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes of this film, I was thinking to myself, this could be the best Spider-Man film. Like, I was feeling something where I was like, oh, okay. I am buckled in with everything I'm seeing right now, and I am well on board. And as I said, I was genuinely thinking to myself, this could be the best Spider-Man film. But as the film went on, it's not that the film lost steam for me, but it kind of settled in to being a very good Marvel Cinematic Universe film. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. I just personally prefer Spider-Man when he isn't entwined in other stuff. I'll get to all that in a bit later. But also what I will say is, if you are like me and you want to know as little as possible about these films, I would say leave this review now. I am going to be talking spoilers throughout this film, throughout this video. So if you haven't seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, leave, come back after you've seen it. But my spoiler-free things is like I had a very good time. I think it's really enjoyable. I liked it. There you go. So yeah, what I mean in the sense of when this film started, I was legitimately thinking to myself, this is amazing. I think like what I really attract to these Spider-Man films, and every Spider-Man film, is the very personal, like more like low stakes element of it all, where it does just feel like a coming of age story of Peter Parker and his relationship with his friends. And before I go further, let me explain my relationship with Spider-Man as a character. I am a millennial. So my discovery of Spider-Man was the Fox Kids animated show that soon became the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I'm not a comic guy, and I never really like fully attached myself to Spider-Man, but I always liked Spider-Man. So I have seen every Spider-Man film. I am the most casual of casual fan of Spider-Man, in the sense of I don't know loads about him, but I have enough of an attachment to the character to give a damn, really. So I've always, and with the Tom Holland Spider-Man films, I didn't like Homecoming at all. I enjoyed Far From Home, and I really enjoyed No Way Home. I don't think any of these films are necessarily fully my cup of tea. But I've had a great time with most of these. Have I revisited them? No. If I'm being honest, no, I haven't. These films, the Tom Holland Spider-Man films, are very of the moment great times, and I have no need to ever go back to them again. And I feel like Brand New Day fits very well in that. But so what I mean, back to talking about like the first 5 minutes. I think what really attracted me to that was like I like I like seeing Spider-Man being a sad guy. I like everything against this guy. I think also what didn't appeal to me a lot with the other Tom Holland Spider-Man films was what I like about Spider-Man, and what I like about most of my superhero stuff. It's kind of like why I really like Batman a lot, is that like I like low stakes crime fighting where I don't really care about we need to save the city or the world's gonna blow up, so we need to stop this big alien thing. I like just like a crime thing's happening within the city, and then this guy is going out of his way to stop it. And I think a lot of the previous Tom Holland films fell victim to we need to be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so we need to fight Thanos and we need to fight portals and multiple dimensions and stuff. Whereas like this one, obviously with the effects of No Way Home, he's had to like he's had to go low key. He's had to like take himself out of that, and now he's like, okay, I'm just gonna fight crime. And that to me is more of an investing character than big, especially for Spider-Man, who's meant to just kind of be like, as I said, it's kind of like a coming of age thing. He's just like this young guy who's like, oh gee, I want to help people. So the stakes in this film are like perfect for Spider-Man in my opinion. And apart from that, I've just seen him kind of fight like ninjas and Scorpion and, just like bank robbers. What's also quite compelling about the film is the fact of like he still has these feelings for MJ, and he still misses his friendship with Ned, and he just misses having people. But he did it for the right reasons, kind of thing. And just seeing his like how that's taken a toll on him, and how although he's like, yes, I know I did the right thing, but my God, that doesn't change the fact I miss these people. And that stuff really hit me, if I'm being honest. Like, this is the first time within an MCU Spider-Man film where I felt like a personal like connection to Peter Parker. And although he is like down in the dumps and he is sad and stuff, it still doesn't take away the actual charm from Spider-Man. Like, I thank fucking God he's not just Deadpool who swings from webs. Like, he's not just joke machine Spider-Man. But he has got some quips. He's got some fun little things. There's the bit of him stretching, and he goes, "I'm not in high school anymore." I'm like, I can fucking relate to that, mate. So that there's a lot of fun with this, but it's equally balanced with the dramatic stuff, and that's like the biggest thing. Like, that's the biggest praise I can say for this film. It's an MCU film that is tonally balanced, which is great. And again, as I said, it helped me get quite invested in this film. I think the performances as well are always, I mean, they're never an issue. I'm never having an issue with like Tom Holland and Zendaya in these films, and it's the same thing again. I think this might be the best Tom Holland has ever been as Spider-Man and Peter Parker. He's great. Zendaya never disappoints. She's just very good in everything, and I think especially and including this, she's very good in this. I think what helps is like because even like Jacob, is it Batalon? Jacob Batalon? Like the three of them, like because they all just feel like just like real people. Like they don't feel like Hollywood stars, or like they don't feel like actors giving an acting performance. They just feel like young people, like college grads. You know what I mean? It just feels right. And when there is a point when they do come together, obviously with Peter Parker still not fully revealing who he is to Ned and everything, like that moment when they're in the apartment, it just feels nice, just seeing these guys hang out and whatnot. And when Spider-Man is like, hey, this is the most fun I've had in days. I genuinely felt that. I really did feel that. Another element that I really enjoyed, which I was skeptical about it, was John Bernthal as the Punisher. Now, what I will say is this might be the first like full thing of John Bernthal as the Punisher I've seen. I didn't watch Daredevil all the way. I got to like the first half of season 2 of Daredevil, so I believe I think he's in that. But I haven't seen anything else from John Bernthal as Frank Castle. But I like John Bernthal a lot, and I've said this in the Odyssey review that John Bernthal is always just John Bernthal in everything. It just depends how well the role fits him, and I think he's like. And again, I also don't know the Punisher, so I don't know like how accurate he is as Frank Castle. But in terms of just being a tough guy with guns, he's good. And I think the dynamic really plays well between Frank and Peter, of just a bit of an odd couple of like this kind of like just like scrawny little kid and this big like muscular dude, and just the arguments they have. It's fun. And again, it could that relationship could have very well fallen into the typical trope of like, oh fuck's sake, all right, it's just like, it's really like smug Marvel humor, but it doesn't like, and it doesn't take away from the film. And they're not constantly at each other's throats. Like, they have a dynamic of like, they clearly are kind of annoyed at each other, but they're also there for each other, which is nice. The film isn't black or white in the sense of like fucking shockingly, like the film because I always get tired of like just like, well, I'm good and I'm bad and I'm funny and I'm mad, and it's just like, all right, there's no like, everyone's a caricature of characters. Whereas like in this film, everyone, I'm not saying they're natural performances, but everyone feels layered and everyone feels like they got like, you know, there's gray areas in this. Like, for example, like especially what I will say is, and this is definitely a spoiler, is Sadie Sink in the film. Obviously, like the film is going on, and for the first like good chunk of the film, it's like Sadie Sink is playing like the villain, like she's like we don't see her for a bit, and she is the villain of the film, and the reveal being that she is Jean Grey, and you know, and me and being an actual, you know, and someone who knows X-Men knows that Jean Grey isn't a villain person, so I'm like, oh, it's interesting, okay. But for the first chunk, that she is the antagonist of the film. But then once we get further into the film, we start seeing why she's doing what she's doing, and the film is very clever in a way of like, for when she is portrayed as the villain, she is actually quite villainous, and she is doing actual like antagonistic stuff. But once like the film goes on, like there's so much destruction happening in the film, and you could argue like, well, why would Jean Grey do that? And my argument is because she's a fucking teenage, like she's a teenager in the film. Like she's young, she's impulsive, she's trying to save her sister, and she's good, and she's doing everything that she can to get to her sister. So of course she's gonna like try to fuck up like military base like defense systems and all that, and get to whoever and get through whoever she can, kind of thing. But once we get past that, and it's like, and it is like a clever thing in a sense, like, oh yeah, the government's the villain. I know that's not a twist in life, but like the film plays off well in the sense like Spider-Man's working with authority and the justice system and, you know, all that stuff. And then by the time we get to the fact of like, wait, what? You're telling me that they're corrupt? It works, I think. And once we get like the backstory of Jean Grey in this film, and this is a Jean Grey pre-X-Men. I have feeling that like, you know, after Doomsday, that's gonna get like sorted, you know. But it's a really, really, really nice setup of like the fact of like, how Jean Grey got put in, like, her and her sister got put in foster care, and then her sister got taken away from her, and then she found out her sister got killed, and her reaction to that, and she is falling down this like really like destructive path because she has no one. And what I will say is, and then by the time we get to the end of the film and the big like that blast, and Jean Grey is so close to just committing a genocide, basically. And then when Peter lets her just fall into his mind, and then, and then one of the more like really lovely, I'm paraphrasing, but it's a really truly lovely piece of dialogue of where May says to Jean, of like, I forgot, again, I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember fully, but it's something like, you're beautiful and you're you, and the people who really mean the most to you will know that, and they won't even care if you are special, kind of thing. I'm like, I'm like, I don't know if I'm just getting really soft at my old age, but I was starting like well up at that, and I'm feeling, and even remembering it, I'm like, oh, that's genuinely something that like has touched me, just thinking about that. And then like with her arc being the fact of like how she drops in, you buy the fact of like, okay, now she's like not like, now Jean Grey is no longer a villain, because now she feels like she's got someone in her life, kind of thing. It's really nice, and it's a really nice like setup for the fact that like, okay, I now can't wait to see her find her family with the X-Men. It's gonna be a really nice moment. It's one of the better establishments of a character I've seen. Like a superhero character I've seen in a while. And Sadie Sink plays her fantastic. I think she's great. I genuinely think that she's, like, in everything I've seen her in, she's excellent. And I don't doubt that she's gonna like do some fantastic stuff in the future. Like, she's got a very bright career ahead of her. But you do need me to tell you that. But yeah, I think like overall, even though I really like the film, again, the action's fun. I love the stakes of the film. I love how like the film doesn't really just have one big bad villain. Again, there's like the government figure and stuff like that. But even he's not like a maniacal guy and whatnot, and they're defeated relatively easy, but because the intrigue is more so between Spider-Man and Jean Grey, like that whole thing, and then Spider-Man and himself, and Spider-Man and like, try and deal with his friends and whatever. And that's another really beautiful scene, I will say, as well, where MJ finds the letter that Peter was going to tell her, and then they talk, and then Peter is now finally honest, and he does share his feelings, and then MJ goes like, and then she goes, I can understand how you fell in love with her, but I'm not her, and I don't love you because I don't know you. That hurts, but also like, I don't know, it's such a, it's just fucking, I don't know, it's just great. Like, these segments are great, and all this moment is stuff that I love about the Spider-Man stuff. The things that I will just never be able to fully like adore is just like, again, my main complaint and my main issue with these things is not to the film's fault at all, and it's not even like a fully negative thing. It's just that like what like I feel like everything else that like what these films are, they're never going to be standalone. They're never just going to simply be standalone solo Spider-Man stories. They're just not, because they need to be able to fit in to the grander Marvel world, and they need to be. They're always going to need to be another chapter in the MCU, which means we're going to have like, at some point, like Florence Pugh as Black Widow in this film, or we're going to have Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk in it, which the Hulk segment's really good. We could have done without the Black Widow stuff. It literally is. It's just literally Florence Pugh in a hot springs, basically, in like a sauna, in a spa, and it's like, yeah, just do a Russian accent, Florence. I like Florence Pugh a lot, but I just can't give any I just don't care at all about her in the MCU. It's just the most like, all right, yeah, we're in one of these films. But I really liked the Hulk segment in it, and it truly did feel like a body horror element of it, which I fucked with a lot. But what I was saying is like, it's like, yes, the Punisher stuff worked out, and I can buy into it. But there's part of me that kind of wishes we just had Spider-Man. Like, it was just the stuff of, like, Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and then Jean Grey's there. I could have dealt with the Punisher also being there, and I get this is what I mean. I don't know why I would have cut. I maybe would have cut Florence Pugh. I don't know if she was needed in it, but it's like, I don't know. Like, part of me is like, I would just personally love a film that is just simply standalone Spider-Man. And part of me is like, I mean, but we've also had that with the Raimi films, and we can have that. And it's cool that we do have a Spider-Man that does interlink with a larger world. I think that is cool. It's just, for me, I can't help but be more invested in just the Spider-Man stuff. And whenever we're not just doing Spider-Man, the film loses me a little bit. As I said, within the first 5 minutes, I'm like, this is going to be amazing. All this is great. Like, I'm well into this. But as soon as it then now becomes, and now we're doing a Marvel film, I'm like, okay, we're here now. Sure. It's not for me. It's not detrimental. It still fits in. It's just not the thing I'm most invested in. But I really enjoyed it. Talking about it now, I do have an interest in maybe seeing it again. I'm probably not going to go on my way to see it again. But, yeah, no, it's weird. When I'm talking about the film, I'm remembering all the really good stuff. And I'm like, oh, no, that was all very good. I would say it's probably the best Tom Holland Spider-Man. Although I probably had a better time with No Way Home. No Way Home's barely like a film. You know what I mean? Whereas, I think Brand New Day is definitely, it feels the most standalone Spider-Man out of all of the Tom Holland Spider-Mans. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's one of the better MCU films I have seen. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. And I believe that's my thoughts on Spider-Man Brand New Day. What did you think of the film? Comment below and let me know. If you like the video, give it a like, give it a share. It helps with all that. In the description below, you can find links to the Crazy Stupid Kino Instagram page, as well as my own personal Instagram page and my Letterboxd, to see if you're curious to see what I am watching and rating and all that jazz. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to see more videos and reviews like this. There are videos to the side here for you to check out. And till next time, I shall see you later.